problem, for the people in general. And we believe this issue, climate change, is one of the problems, and this right moment is a crucial and historical moment. We would like you to show the leaders of northern countries that this is the key issue now. And I think we are capable to do this together. And we as southern people are here to support you in this task, to show the leaders the right decisions have to be taken. And we need a fair and ambitious and legally binding agreement here in Copenhagen. We don't need it in the future, we need it now. We have no time to wait and to waste.
Tell us, Bangladesh, how is climate change affecting people in Bangladesh now?
People is dying in Bangladesh. Let me share the experience of a young father. His name is Dulal Faraji. He is on the way of the sea for fishing during Cyclone Sidon. He saved himself, he survived himself to hanging on a branch of a tree of the Sundarban for 3 days. And when he came to his village, all of his resources were gone, and his wife was crying because they had two daughters, 2 years old, and another one is 5 years old. They were swept away. They were saying that if they have had a cyclone shelter, they should survive. They should save their children. And now more people in Bangladesh, we have cyclone due to climate change. There are more cyclone, and more people are dying due to cyclone, floods, and salt water, and people are suffering most. So we are here in Copenhagen on behalf of our vulnerable community of Bangladesh for a fair, legally binding, and ambitious dealings for long term, not short term something.
So we just have to make absolutely sure that people have understood this. When the flood takes place, this gentleman is hanging in a tree for 3 days in order to survive. And he gets back home and his wife tells him what?
His wife tells that if they have had a cyclone shelter, because in that community there was no cyclone shelter to save themselves, to save their children. As we have cyclone, but due to climate change we have more cyclone, and people are more suffering, more people are dying. They are not going to for their earnings. Their earnings are becoming less and less for different types of climate change impact.
And who is this worst for? Whose experiences are the worst here? The rich people or the poor people in Bangladesh?
Yeah, the poor people of the Bangladesh are suffering most of this, specifically of the coastal region of Bangladesh are suffering most for climate change impacts.
Thank you so much. Mitebas, experience in this in Ethiopia. What's the experience like?
Ethiopia is a country highly dependent on rain-fed agriculture, so the farmers are highly affected by climate change. There are no more short rains in almost all the regions, so there's the case of the crop failure, and these people are highly affected by drought, and drought is now more recurrent than before. And there's also the flood, which has never been the case before. And also in the pastoralist areas, there's a shortage of water, and there's no grazing land for their cattle, so the cattle are dying. And this is a big case for the pastoralists. And the people in those communities are even thinking about changing the names of the months they had, because the months used to mean something about the weather and all. So the people are really affected by climate change, and it's happening now.
So it's more extreme. There's droughts that haven't been there before, and there's floods that haven't been taking place before. It's more extreme.
Yes, now it's more extreme. Before it was maybe once in 10 years, but now it's like in 2 years or in 3 years in most of the areas.
What do you do to help them? How can you help them?
Until now, there's just the food aid, what has been helping the people, but now we want the people to adapt to this climate change and to take adaptive measures, so we're helping the community to take those measures.
Nafisa, tell us, you're from India. What if people what if people in Europe and the United States, what if they say the rich people in India, they should be helping the poor people? The rich people in India and China that should be doing most. What would you answer?
Well, I will say that, the climate crisis is not a crisis of any one country. Yes, India has its strengths. India also has its problems. You know that about 70% of our population is below the poverty line. And we are struggling with a large number of people. But the point is that the climate crisis is a global crisis, and we need to find a global solution. So that is what we are all about. Those who are most impacted by the problem must be the center of deliberations. And they must be the center of decisions that we make in their favor. And that is climate justice.
And what is happening in India, of course, is absolutely crucial, because if India and China start now on the same development that we've had for the past 50 years, using oil and using coal, we are going to see the crisis become worse and worse. How are you going to make sure in India that you get a different kind of development?
Yes, I think the climate crisis is an opportunity to revisit our paradigm of development. And certainly in India, we are saying that we need to look at other approaches. We don't want to follow the Western model of development. We do want to look at development which is more people-centered. But I think at the same time we must recognize that India may be fifth in terms of its emissions, but its per capita emissions is very low. And therefore, the responsibility, I think, must be squarely in place of those who have created the problem. Therefore, we need to look at both the issue of historical emissions as well as future emissions.
Olaf, tell us, now you are one of the innumerable number of Norwegian bishops in the audience. What? Yes. And Norwegians in the audience, of course. And why is this issue important to you?
Because we see that the Arctic ice is slowly melting down, and that's alarming. And I also see that our glaciers are shrinking, and that's also alarming. And some of our scientists say that the fisheries are also affected by this climate change. So we see things happening in Norway too, which are alarming. So that's why we are here, all the bishops in Church of Norway.
And of course the meeting will end, there will be some agreement, we hope, to come out of it. And then what is going to happen in January? How are we going to make sure that the politicians stick with the promises, you think?
I think we should go home and put the politicians under pressure so that they dare to act boldly. That's the thing.
I'm asking you not as yourself, but I'm asking you on behalf of all Norwegians here. Are you ready to pay for this?
We should, because we have had a lot of money because of our oil industry, so we have an obligation to pay for it. So, and if we can afford it.
And what will you say to people, whether it's in Norway or whether it's in Denmark or in the United States, what will you say to people who are saying, look, we have a crisis going on, I'm losing my job, I have my own things to worry about, and these people are none of my concern? What will you say to them?
I think this is a major concern, so it affects all of us, so we have no other choice. That we should take. And I think if we go together, making small steps together, this will together make a huge leap. So both the politicians and ourselves, we have to take actions in our personal lives and our national lives. And Norway should be there and has its obligation to do big things.
Yeah.
Thank you. And obviously now, you are going to get the final word here, so you will speak on behalf of all of these people and you will speak on behalf of all of us. What would you like to say to the politicians?
I will tell the politicians that they have the time, they have had the time, they now have the money, they have the technology. All they need is the will to change things. And remind them that the ambition level in 1997 compared to what we're having today is dropping. They should not partake on the table of losers. They should be the table of winners who came together to change the world. you know that they can do it, they should do it. So yes, we can, and let everybody say yes, we can again today in Copenhagen, because this is important for us. It is a matter of urgency for Africa. So let's not kill Kyoto Protocol. Let's not give it to those who think that it should be diluted, because we are not experiencing this thing because of our own cause. People have caused it, and they have the power to change the things. So we have the opportunity to do it. We've come to Copenhagen to win and not to lose. So let's all be winners. Let our leaders be winners, so that history will say they came together and changed the world.
Thank you.